what you missed on the previous episode of Plugged In with Seeff Properties.
Not only just for people to actually buy already made houses, but to also help them construct houses of their own.
People will come to property consultants and say, you know, I want to buy a house, I want to go view a house, but they haven't even come to you guys. Do you think that's an advisable thing to do?
What are the steps to get that pre-approval? Like, is it quite a long process or is it pretty easy?
One thing that I know from today, I've lost a lot of misconceptions that I had about property. One for me is age-wise. I've been educated. Like I don't know. In my head, I always thought you had to be like at a certain granny age to get a mortgage, if that's a thing. But I know there's a lot of misconceptions that you meet as a banker when your customers come and they say, okay, Mr. Mac, I want to get a mortgage, but this is what I think, or this is what I thought. What are the major misconceptions that you usually face when a client comes to you? You're cracking up already. It's like, please tell us the funniest story, because I feel like there's a funny story behind it.
Funny stories, but I think what I can put out is that there are a lot of misconceptions around property.
Yeah.
I think the first thing, people think mortgage or properties are for old people.
Yeah, I was one of them. I'm a believer now. I've changed.
It's not. Like I've said before, it's better for you to get a property or to get a mortgage when you are still young, when you still are able to service it. And by the time you approach your retirement, remember, when you hit your 45s, your 50s, those are the ages you should be able to be planning for your retirement. And remember, if you are going to retire at 60, you have a good 2 decades. You might die at 80.
Yeah.
So what's going to finance those 20 years?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
So by the time you are around 45 or so, you should be starting to accumulate, sustainable income to keep you through your
retirement ages. Yeah.
It's not really okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying it's advisable that at that time you should be at least looking to pay off your. Looking to the dying ages of your mortgage, of your big commitments. Or if you have a mortgage at that time, you should be perhaps be looking at paying off investment properties, right?
Yeah.
Secondary properties that are bringing you some income.
Yeah.
To supplement the salary or the income that you get from your mainstream work. So the other misconception is that mortgages are for the rich.
Yeah, that's also a big misconception.
It's not true. Sometimes the rich can't afford mortgages.
I know, isn't that
I'm just gonna put it out there. Sometimes the rich can't afford a mortgage. So it's not aligned.
That doesn't even sound right in my head. Like rich and not afford.
Because they also live on a lot of overdrafts.
No.
So it's always advisable for you to not prejudge yourself.
Yeah.
For you to be, like I've said,
prejudged by the professional.
Yeah. So you need to have give yourself that opportunity to consult a professional, a banker, a real estate agent, to be able to actually help you to see whether you are eligible or not, and what options you have to be able. So I think those two misconceptions are, and also that the other misconception is that mortgage ties you down.
Yeah. Okay. That I've heard a lot about.
The truth of the matter is you need accommodation.
Yeah.
So the question you need to answer is, are you going to pay for accommodation that you will end up owning, or are you going to pay for someone accommodation that they will end up owning?
He already made me feel bad about this earlier on, so I feel like this is a trick for me to answer.
It's a genuine question.
I'm kind of...
So
yeah.
You need to ask yourself questions. So I'm just going to maybe jump into renting
and buy.
Also buying. When you rent, you obviously you can get the same amount that you pay in a mortgage to be able to pay that same amount in rental for obviously a much better property somewhere else. But the truth of the matter is that property will never be yours.
Yeah.
That's the thing that confuses people.
Yeah, it'll never be yours.
Yeah.
So if the property has a mortgage, like Galyn has said before, you are either paying off somebody's mortgage,
Yeah.
LP, that someone pays a good chunk of their mortgage
Yeah.
that they will end up owning that you will not own. So there is obviously when you own the property, there are things that come with it.
Yes.
The property is going to end up being yours. So I'm going to give you like a little something just to reveal something. So assuming, Galyn,
Yes.
that time you started paying your mortgage, say 5,000, right? 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So if you started paying your mortgage 5,000 10 years ago, remember I said your mortgage payment should be equal monthly installments. So if you pay 5,000 now, remember a mortgage is a 15, 20 years, so just assuming it's a 20 years.
Yeah.
When you are on year 10, do you think 5,000 when you started is 5,000 on year 10?
Imagine.
Yeah.
1,000 then would have now in the market of rental probably been 8,000 or 9,000.
Yeah.
So rentals will always appreciate.
But you're still paying 5,000. Oh.
And
So that's you start off difficult, but then you end off.
I don't even understand how we're friends. I've known her for so long. She's never told me this.
Yeah, so by the time you are
Really?
10, you are paying 5,000. So 5,000 is worth much less than it was 10 years ago. So and your earnings and income, whatever, they're probably
increased. Yeah.
The other thing is that as you keep it's called time value of money.
The increase of income is not true though. No, I'm joking.
So then
For you.
the other thing is that
For you.
remember then over time, it's obviously properties hit a slump sum here and there, but ideally the trajectory goes up.
Yeah.
So it appreciates over time. So you might actually have bought that property 500,000. By the time you finish paying it off, you can sell it for much more. If you want to sell it and then perhaps reinvest into something.
Yeah.
And probably get your money back that you put in at first and some. Yeah.
The other thing is that when you own the property, you can do what you want with the property. You can extend it. You can actually start small. Start building maybe like a 2-bed or like a 1-bed bachelor within your budget. And over time, because maybe perhaps you've got a bigger plot, over time you are able to extend and expand with your life. As your family expands, you're able to expand without having to actually move.
From one bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I see where you're going with it.
Like that. So
Mac is my man.
You should be able to think it like that. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, it's a mortgage. It means I have to buy a big house.
It's a ball and chain.
I'm tied up to this thing.
It's like he's telling you my story. It's so interesting because like that's what I did. I had a little house and now I'm extending it. It had one toilet. Now it's gonna have 2 toilets.
I feel like
we don't have to knock anymore and say hurry up. It's my turn to wee wee.
You know, things like that. So
it's a progress.
you have to think it. You have to think it in that way. So you have the opportunity to do what you want. You can customize it as you want.
Yeah.
Downfall.
Yeah, ne?
Downfall. When you're renting, you can call the landlord to fix your geyser. When you're the owner, you have to call yourself.
Yeah, if you have a good landlord.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like
so maintenance obviously when you're renting is not on you.
Yeah.
It's on the landlord.
If it's a good landlord, like you said.
Yeah. So but if those are perhaps the disadvantage, but over time, the advantages, like I've said, in my opinion, they outweigh
the disadvantages.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually so the end goal should be to be the owner, own the property.
Yeah.
Find a way to put yourself in a.
The other thing is, if like Galyn, you have children, so you have to be thinking. If I pay this amount every year, every other month, I'm paying. You are not mortgaging or owning your own property. You're not only just thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Thinking about
what
the future generation is going to be. Perhaps you are not going to. You'll pay off, and then your kid, your son comes through. You are able to assist them to refinance a house, and then they get kept out for a business that will grow. You should think things like that.
No,
if you're paying rent,
you got some gems today. Yeah.
You feel inspired?
I forgot some gems. I got some gems.
You're gonna go get.
Plus, I'm with Mac. Don't worry. Me and Mac are gonna talk behind the scenes after this.
Myself. I feel like I need to buy another property.
No. First home owners.
Okay.
First home.
secondary control.
Let's just leave the secondary first. Let's focus this side first. Yeah.
With you old people.
But I think that was a lovely chat.
I love it. I feel inspired.
Like
I hope you feel inspired.
at the beginning when she said we were here welcoming a financial guru, we're sure now, guys, that Macmillian, our financial guru, thank you for coming again. We love the fact that you are our first guest in our first episode. So if we'll give you something in the so that our other guest who comes doesn't see what we bought you, but we'll get you something.
No,
We'll get
A red cake.
a red cake.
A silk red cake.
yeah, it's always a pleasure to just share, like I've said, little knowledge that I've got over the decade I've been in banking.
Yeah.
To just share with the audience and to just try and break down some of the subjects that seem to be difficult, but in essence they're not. Like I'm saying, I'll still go back to say banking is quite simple.
Can you say that quote again? As we end the where the dreams.
What we do is we facilitate realization of dreams.
Oh, lovely. That's a gem.